this lesson about the sanctified day to worship and adore Him. Praise God. We're now at lesson number 6, and the title is The Righteous One. The Righteous One. And I was looking over the definition for righteous. It means holy and blameless, unstained by sin. So the one who is holy and blameless and unstained by sin, the righteous one. So praise the Lord. So we give thanks for this lesson that we're at, lesson number 6, which is entitled The Righteous One. Our memory text is taken from 1 John 2, verse 1, and it reads thus: We have an advocate with the Father, Jesus Christ, the righteous. Praise the Lord. So we have an advocate. We have another word for advocate would be intercessor. So we have someone who is similar to a lawyer, someone who's able to defend us. And we give thanks. We're grateful for the fact that we have that person who's standing in the gap for us. Praise the Lord. My mind goes back to situations that would have occurred where persons would be lawyers. They would have a situation or a case. And in Jamaica, we know that if we get caught up in certain things, and they don't have any champagne or a cake, then you are certain, almost certain, that we're going to be spending some time in jail. So we praise the Lord that we had a situation that needed an intercessor or a lawyer, and Jesus Christ, the righteous one, was here for us. We praise the Lord. So we are lesson 6, and as I said, this is entitled The Righteous One, and speaks to Jesus Christ interceding on our behalf. But more importantly, as we go into the lesson, we will see that we will come to find out the reason or the circumstances that surround why we will need an intercessor. Praise the Lord. All right, so moving right along, we have read it, and read it speaks to certain scriptures that we put forward. So the scriptures that we have here are taken from Matthew 3, verse 15, and to Matthew 4, and then we have Luke 22, verse 39 to 46, and Luke 23, verse 47, and Luke 3, verse 21 to 26. All right, so as we go along, we'll move through it. Think about it. The keywords that are going to hear in our lesson number 6, the keywords that we should look at as we go through the lesson are tempted, right? And tempted means to entice or try to deceive. We have faithful, which means to remain loyal and steadfast. And we have sinless, which is to be free from sin. And we have the word salvation, which means deliverance from harm or evil. So the 4 keywords that there are 4 keywords that we should focus on, which is tempted, faithful, sinless, and salvation. These are the 4 keywords that as we go through the lesson, we need to ponder and think about. All right? And speaking about think, we have think about it, which speaks to going over the circumstances surrounding the entire lesson. So in order to think about it, I was reading a little bit as I go along and touch and expound on it. Alright, so think about it. It says, the healing preaching ministry of Jesus primarily directed disciples to the righteousness of God. It stands at the heart of his kingdom way. It is also the heart of who Jesus is and why seeking God's kingdom of righteousness is to seek Christ himself. From baptism to death, righteousness infused Jesus' being. To John the Baptist, his intent to fulfill all righteousness was clear from the start. At the end, on the cross, a centurion looked and exclaimed to God, certainly, this was a righteous man. Intense temptation was present near these crucial events. And this is seen in Matthew 4, verse 1 to 4, and Luke 22, verse 7 to 46. Yet Jesus Christ endured every test and remained faithful to God's will in life and in death. So he was faithful, brethren. He maintained his composure, and even though he was tempted and tried, he still remained faithful. And praise the Lord for that. So the other paragraph goes on to read, when the apostle looked back on Jesus after crucifixion and resurrection, this trait stood out as defining his person and work. He is the righteous one. Jesus Christ the righteous. This defining attribute ties Jesus to his destiny. He alone was uniquely qualified to be God's reconciled Prince of Peace through death on the cross. His entire existence and ministry pointed to this goal. He knew and taught it. But for this purpose I came to this hour. And this was said in John 12, verse 27. The New Testament insists that Jesus was subject to our temptations, yet did not yield to them. For we do not have a high priest who cannot sympathize with our weaknesses, but was in all points tempted as we are, yet without sin. And here it is mentioned that we reflect on it, that he was showing us the way in which we should have salvation or get on the path. The just one is a man like us in every way, but one. Sin has left no stain and has no part in it. Praise the Lord. Here we find the basic logic, or what I would put in my words as the reasoning or the understanding for the atonement in all its variety. That is what Christ has accomplished for us in his death. The next several lessons to examine a few of these. But righteousness is central to each. He's a Savior because he's our representative substitution. But Christ also suffered once for sins, the righteous for the unrighteous. Christ's righteousness is the key to our reconciliation. By it, God's salvation comes. Paul explains the profound truth in a remarkable detail in Romans 3. Regarding humans, there is none righteous, no, not one. And yet in Christ crucified, the righteousness of God is demonstrated. This is the gospel of Christ and the power of God for salvation. And in it, God's righteousness is revealed and we are justified by it. In the last quarterly, we learned that God's righteousness, faithfulness, and salvation are interrelated. Condemned terminology. Yeah, the word. But they're all it. They communicate his love and commitment to his relationship with his people, to deal with the curse and to restore the blessing. But the relationship is reciprocal. Righteousness is expected of the saved too. In Christ, this reciprocation of righteousness incarnated. God's faithfulness to us and humans' faithfulness to God. The divided are united in Christ. That is the message of reconciliation. Jesus knew no sin. He died for all so that we might become the righteousness of God. From God to Jesus, to his people, through reconciliation, righteousness divides us all. Praise the Lord. So quite a bit of reading there, but it's asking us to reflect on these things. To reflect on the fact that there was something about Jesus. It was something about that man. His righteousness pulled people to him. And it's clear that when you think about it, at the beginning of it seeks to say that there's something significant about the way in which he conducted himself that was able to not only have healing power and heal persons and resuscitation, but it was something else that was there that was pulling us and ultimately pulling us to salvation. Praise the Lord. So many things are there, and we see also that his death was a means of bringing us back into right standing with the Lord and reconciling us to the Lord. Because in the lessons earlier we saw that Adam sinned, and by Adam sinning, the entire human race was lost. But we see here that by Jesus' sacrifice, all of us have come. Not only the certain set of people, but everyone. has come by means of Jesus Christ to righteousness and salvation. Praise the Lord. All right, answer it. Let me just take a quick little or brief look to see if we have anybody online. That's it, that is technology. Right, so as I was saying, we've just gone about, think about it, and we've just gone through that, and we've reflected on the keywords that protected people, sickness, and salvation. And we know what lesson number 6, for those who perhaps didn't read. So, we're now moving to answer. All right. We have a few persons online. Let's see, Lisa Phillips Hamilton, Sister Loy Harper, and many others are here. A special welcome to you all. I want to say happy Sabbath to everyone who's online and also those who are here in the church. All right, special happy Sabbath to Ashley Hamilton, Clarke, Kimara Palmer, Desiree Wisdom. I see Sister Fletcher is online. Happy Sabbath to you. I see Frederica Thomas also. So happy Sabbath to each and every one. All right, so we get to think about it. Now we're going to move into answer it. And question 1 says, the blank of blank stands at the heart of who Jesus is. The blank of blank stands at the heart of who Jesus is. Praise the Lord. So we look at that. And question 2 says, in Christ the blank of righteousness is blank. And question 3 says, through blank righteousness defines us all. So we're looking at it, and for my first question, I have the righteousness of God stands at the heart of who Jesus is. The righteousness of God stands at the heart of who Jesus is. So that is the first. And this is taken from the first paragraph. We think about where it says the healing preaching ministry of Jesus primarily directed disciples to the righteousness of God. It stands at the heart of his kingdom. It is also the heart of who Jesus is. And why seeking God's kingdom is to seek Christ himself. So this is taken from the first paragraph here. Right? And that's question 1. It says the righteousness of God stands at the heart of who Jesus is. All right, I want to say a special welcome to Sister Yanni Adola. She's watching, and to her. Right. So question 1, it was saying, and as I mentioned earlier, it says the healing preaching ministry of Jesus primarily guided persons to the righteousness of God. And it stands at the heart, or essential to the kingdom of who Jesus is. It's the heart of who Jesus is, and why seeking God's righteousness is to seek Christ himself. So in essence, they are interchangeable, or they are one and the same. Praise the Lord. So we see that from question 1 here. It's saying the righteousness of God stands on our feet. Question 2 says, in Christ, the blood of righteousness is incarnated. In Christ, the blood of righteousness is incarnated. Right? And some big words here. But I have my answer is, in Christ, the reciprocation of righteousness is incarnated. In Christ, the reciprocation of righteousness is incarnated. So by reciprocation, it means to do something corresponding to the action, to reciprocate. So basically, I give, you get. It's that sort of thing. So reciprocation, it's a corresponding action to what is taking place. So it says, in Christ, the reciprocation of righteousness is incarnated. And by incarnation, we mean basically in Christ, the reciprocation of righteousness is incarnated. So it is manifested. That's it's manifest. I would put it that way to cut it short. So in essence, the reciprocation of righteousness, the corresponding or the aspect of righteousness that manifests itself is seen in Christ. So that is how I think that is why that question is right. All right, question 3. We'll come more into it as we go into the talk about it. Question 3. Through blood, righteousness defines us all. Yes, and as Sister Loy has put down the same answers for question 2. She has reciprocation and incarnate. Yes, that is correct. I see our Sister Vanessa Fraser has joined us, and Leon Davis, as well as Desiree. So a special welcome to all of you online. All right, so question 1 was the righteousness of God stands at the heart of who Jesus is. Question 2 spoke to in Christ, the reciprocation of righteousness is in Christ. And now question 3 says, through blood, righteousness defines us all. Right? Through blood, righteousness defines us all. And this is taken from what I have here. Yes. Once again, Sister Loy is on the ball. She has reconciliation. Right? Through reconciliation, righteousness defines its order. That is taken from the last paragraph here that reads, the divided are united in Christ. That is the best of reconciliation. Jesus knew no sin. He died for us so that we might become the righteousness of God in him. And from God to Jesus, his people, through reconciliation, righteousness defines us all. Right. So that is question 3 that we have here. All right. And then our little summary text here says, his righteousness is key to our reconciliation. Amen. So it says, his righteousness is the key to our reconciliation. So in essence, it's his ability to bring us into full right standing with the Lord. That is why I read that. Because reconciliation, when we have a bank recon and in accounting, we're trying to, I'm not sure you know more about it and the accountants online. But reconciliation means to bring one thing, in to balance it with another thing. That's what reconciliation means. Right? So his righteousness is key to bringing us back into right standing with the Lord. And that is what I think is said here. All right. Let us move into talk about it. I think the questions and answer it were giving us a kind of precursor to what is the greater things to come. So answer it was just touching us on the piece of what we need to focus on. So talk about gives us the needs that matter and puts everything into context. So question 1 says, what is the significance of Jesus as tempted and righteous in the Gospels? Right? What is the significance of Jesus as tempted and righteous in the Gospels? Right? All right. I want to say a special welcome to Sister Noreen Greenwood. I see Desiree Wisdom has reconciliation here for question 3 as well. So very good. The students have done very well. Sister Loya have had it as well. All right. So question 1 is saying, what is the significance? What is the importance of Jesus as tempted and righteous in the gospel? Right. And we're going to look at Matthew 3, or read it, which is Matthew 3, verse 15 to 4, verse 4. All right. So let me look at those. Because this question is saying, what is the importance? How is it relevant? Why are these temptation situations? Why is it that this always connected to anything that we're speaking about now? So that's what the question 1 is asking us about. So it's saying, read Matthew 3, verse 15 to chapter 4, verse 4. In those days, 15. And Jesus answered, said unto him, suffer it to be so now, for thus it becometh us to fulfill all righteousness. Then he suffered him, or he allowed him. And Jesus, when he was baptized, went up straightway out of the water, and lo, the heavens were opened unto him, and he saw a dove and lighting upon him. And lo, a voice from heaven saying, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. All right, and here it ends, chapter 3 ends. Chapter 4 goes on to say, then Jesus was led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward and hungry. And when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. Then the devil taketh him up into the holy city. Then the devil taketh him up to the holy city and set him at the pinnacle of the temple, and saith unto him, if thou be the Son of God, cast thyself down, for it is written, he shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone. Praise the Lord. And Jesus said unto him, it is written again, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. Again, the devil taketh him up to an exceeding high mountain, and showeth him all the kingdom of the world, and the glory of them, and saith unto him, all these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Then said Jesus unto him, get me hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve. Then the devil leaveth him, and behold, angels came and ministered unto him. Praise the Lord. So it showed me that I went on, it was interesting, so I went on. Praise the Lord. But it is saying, the question was asking and saying, what is the importance of Jesus as being tempted and righteous in the gospel? And it went on to look at this piece of scripture here, right? And we see that Jesus was indeed tempted. He was tempted at a time when it was really after he just finished fasting, and the devil came and attacked him, and came and tempted him, and it was at a time when definitely he would have wanted food, because it was saying that he was hungry, right? Praise the Lord. And he needed something, and the devil tempted him with food, but he maintained his composure, and he withstood the temptation. Praise the Lord. He remained faithful. So we see the word with tempted coming out here, one of our key words that was highlighted. We see that he wasn't tempted, and that he remained loyal and steadfast. Right? We also need to look at Luke 22, verses 39 to 46. And this is another instance here. And this is Jesus praying in the garden. Luke 22, verse 32, 39 to 46. And it reads us, and he came out and went out as he went to the Mount of Olives, and his disciples also followed him. And when he was at the place, he said unto them, pray that ye enter not into temptation. Right? So he said to his disciples who were following, so pray that you enter not into temptation. And he was withdrawn from them and went about a stone's throw and kneeled down and prayed, saying, Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. And there appeared an angel unto him from heaven, strengthening him. And being in an agony, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was, as it were, great drops of blood falling down to the ground. And when he rose up from prayer and was come to his disciples, he found them sleeping for sorrow. And he said unto them, why sleep ye? Rise and pray, lest ye enter into temptation. Right? So we see once again that he was indeed. So we see a different form of temptation coming here. The first one was from more of an external factor, wherein the devil was tempting him, right? And then we see a temptation from within. So, even in our own lives, we have situations that aren't necessarily from external factors or external sources, but within ourselves. I would say that Jesus himself was indeed faced with a great task, a great job to be done, And he said, he prayed to his Father and said, thou be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. Praise the Lord. So we see, right, I want to say a special welcome to Braeton, who's just joined, and Tamika Summers, and Sister Desiree Wisdom, who has the answer to question 3, I can see. So that is correct, Sister Wisdom. Yes, to fulfill all righteousness. That is indeed correct for question 3. We are now on the first question on the talk about it. And it was speaking to Jesus' temptation, and we just read Luke 22, verses 39 to 46. That speaks about Jesus in the garden. And he's praying. And this situation, as I said, it was different from the one that was before taken from Matthew 3, verse 15, where he was tempted by the devil. This is an internal torment or an internal conflict that's taking place. And Jesus is praying to his Father, asking for easy. But yet he remains steadfast, he remains faithful, and says, nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. So we see here that he had a mission and he stayed the mission, stayed the course in order to fulfill his mission. Praise the Lord. So this is the question was asking, what is the importance of his being tempted and righteous? Right? I will see that it's twofold. It's not only ensuring that he maintained his score, because after all, if he was tempted and he failed, then the mission of salvation or the role that he was supposed to play to redeem mankind would not be fulfilled. So we're seeing here that not only was this tempting a test to derail by the devil, but we're also seeing that there was a overcoming of the temptation that had to be to ensure that he would remain on course to redeem mankind, but also that he would show us as mankind how it was that we were supposed to live our lives and overcome temptation ourselves. So we see that it's twofold, many things that are coming out here. Because the question is asking us, what is the importance of his being tempted and righteous in the gospel. So we're seeing that one, it shows that he would be able to show his righteousness as a result of being tempted. Because after all, how is it that we prove that someone is righteous? How would we prove if every day you're going along? And we just have to look at it in layman's terms like today's scenario. How would we prove that someone is a worthy judge or a worthy lawyer or intercessor? We have, as I mentioned, lawyers in Jamaicans who are in our setting today, Katie Knight and a lot of different lawyers. But how is it that we would have proved that those lawyers were worthy or credible, so to speak, in terms of getting off persons? They would have had to try and test it. They would have had to prove their worth, no doubt. So when we look at it here, we see that the question is really saying, how is it that Christ has been proven worthy, so to speak? And we are seeing there that he was proved righteous not only because he was forgiving us, but that he overcome things that were in the flesh. He overcome certain things. Because this scripture here that says that his sweat was as were great drops of blood falling to the ground. It's like, when I look at it, I think it's like a movie that by saying the great drops of blood falling to the ground, it really allows you to envision how great the stream was and how difficult it was to go through this burn, because surely he envisioned not only the torment and torture that he would endure, but ultimately his death. And all of those things put together made it so, not necessarily afraid, but just saying in his mind, can I really do this? So, it is showing you the significance of temptation in the context of the greater job to be done. And we see that he was tempted and faced with this situation, but he overcome it so that we could be redeemed, so that we might have salvation. Praise the Lord. So we see this is the significance of it, of Jesus being tempted and being righteous or showing his righteousness in his gospels. This is the significance, because he had to be sure that he was worthy and that he was faithful. Praise the Lord. So question 2 says, why is the righteousness of Christ key to atonement and reconciliation? Why is the righteousness of Christ key to atonement and reconciliation? Right? So it is saying, who is this righteousness? So the first question was really saying, what's the significance of Jesus being tempted and displaying righteousness in the Gospels? And this question was saying, why is that righteousness crucial or necessary for atonement and reconciliation? Like also look at 1 Peter 3, verse 18, and 2 Corinthians 5, verse 20 to 21. So how does this tie with atonement? And even before I read the scripture, it reminds me of the priest, because it says that Christ is our intercessor or advocate or priest. It reminds me of how in the Mosaic time that priests would have to cleanse themselves. They would have to, going out to intercede first, they would have to ensure that they're clean. They would have to ensure that they do the necessary things to make sure they weren't tarnished. So in the same way, it is important because Christ, it says, is a propitiation for sins. Or he's someone who would stand in place for us. So we're looking at 2 Corinthians 5, verse 14 to 21. And it reads thus. For the love of Christ constrained us because we thus judge that if one died for all, they were all dead. And 2 Corinthians 5, verse 14, it says, for the love of Christ constrained us because we thus judge that if one died for all, they were all dead. And that he died for all, that they which live should not henceforth live unto themselves, but unto him which died for them and rose again. Wherefore, henceforth know we no man after the flesh. Yea, though we have known Christ after the flesh, yet now henceforth know we him no more. Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. All things are passed away, behold, all things are become new. And all things are of God, who hath reconciled us to himself by Jesus Christ, and hath given us the ministry of reconciliation. To wit, that God was in Christ, reconciled the world unto himself, not imputing their trespasses unto them, and hath committed unto us the word of reconciliation. Now then, we are ambassadors of Christ, as though God would beseech you by us, we pray you in Christ, that be you reconciled to God. For he had made him to be sin for us who knew no sin, that we might be made the righteousness of God. Right? And I think this is the crux of the matter here. For he had made him to be sin for us who knew no sin, that we might be made righteousness. So we see that Jesus took our place. He had made him to be sin for us who knew no sin. And part of that, what was said in question now is coming out here because he knew no sin. So if it was that he was tempted and he was found unrighteous, then of course this scripture would be true. Right. So that is it. So he will have to be tempted and tried and then show himself to be righteous or worthy in order for us to have salvation. Praise the Lord. So we see this is crucial. The number one and number two are interlinked. Because question 2 is saying was, why is the righteousness of Christ into atonement and reconciliation? I will see here that he would have to be that lamb who was without blemish. He would have to be shown to be that lamb. And in order for us to have the atonement, in order for us to have the reconciliation, or that coming back into right standing with the Lord. Praise the Lord. So the two things are linked here. I see Sister Lee Barnes has joined us. I'm not sure she could have been here. Well, it's not coming up. But praise the Lord, sister. And happy Sabbath to you as well. Right? So question 2 was saying to us, why is righteousness of Christ into atonement? Now we're seeing here that it is crucial because, as scripture says here, for he was made to be sin for us who knew no sin, that we might be made the righteousness of God in him. It's a very crucial, very, very salient point. And the other scripture was Peter 3, verse 18. And it reads thus, for Christ also had once suffered for sins, just for the unjust, that he might bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit. Right? So as it's similar to what was said, it says Christ has also suffered for us. He was without sin, without blemish, he came from off his throne and came to die to suffer for our sins, the just being Christ for the unjust, that he might bring us to God. So by saying bring us to God, it means reconcile us to bring us back into right stand. And then it says, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit. Praise the Lord. So right, so as we were saying, the righteousness it was key or crucial to atonement because of this unblemished character, his unblemished track record. All those things were key to atonement. And even when I look at it from a practical sense, something that is the scripture went on to scripture now said that there is no righteous. I mean Romans 3 verse 23 says, all of sin have come short of the glory of God. Right? And so it is that even as I reflect on this, atonement has to come from something. When something is atoned for or making something to come the right standing through reconciliation, it have to be something that is pure. Something that's dirty can make something dirty, clean. It doesn't make sense in practical sense. You understand? If you want something to become pure or something to become better, it has to be done by something that is clean. So if you are dirty, you are clean bar soap. So that is how I see it. It's a funny analogy, but when I look at it, it makes sense. Alright, so that is really speaking to the righteousness of Christ being key to our atonement and reconciliation here. Right? Verse 3 says to us, what is covenant righteousness and how is it fully reciprocated in Christ? What is covenant righteousness? Right? What is covenant righteousness? And this is time and everything. Right? I remember the word covenant. I first called back to us again. Covenant. We did it, I think, a couple lessons ago. And covenant speaks to a contract or agreement between two parties. So basically, you do this for me and I do this for you. So it's a covenant, it's an agreement, right? And it requires both parties to do what has been promised or what has been agreed on in order for the covenant to be considered agreed on. So this is saying to us, what is covenant righteousness? What is that agreement that ties into righteousness? And I put here as a definition, God's faithfulness that brings salvation through Jesus Christ. So I ensure God's faithfulness, God's agreement, right, that He will provide a means of salvation through Jesus Christ. That is the covenant righteousness. And how is it fully reciprocated in Christ? Right? So the first part of it speaks to covenant righteousness. So that means that even though God is faithful, there has to be another component of it that we also have to be faithful in the mix of the thing. Because a covenant involves two parties. Right? So God is faithful and has provided us salvation, or promised us salvation, and He has been faithful and has delivered us by providing His only begotten Son who has died for us. And He has been faithful with His end. But we also have to be faithful. As it was required of Israel to be faithful, we were the Lord was providing for them back in the day. We also, as children of God, right, have to be faithful. So we see that this is how covenant righteousness works. We have access to the righteousness there, but we have to live our lives in agreement or in faithfulness to Christ. We can't just live in any way. Yes, salvation is there, but we have to ensure that we're living our lives in a faithful manner. And it says, the second part says, how is it fully reciprocated in Christ? So we see that Christ was not only the sacrifice that the Lord will provide to fulfill His end of the covenant, but we see that Christ was also a man. So we see that He also lived His life in such a way that showed He wasn't only fulfilling Christ, right, God's righteousness, but He was also showing the type of life that man would live to be righteous to God. Praise the Lord. So we see two sides coming out here. How we should live in relation to God, and we see Jesus being a manifestation of what righteousness would be and what salvation would be. So there are two aspects to it. God has provided a means of salvation, but we also have to do something in order to stay sanctified. Alright, a special welcome to Sister Sylvia Arnold. Happy Sabbath to you as well. Alright, let us read Romans 1, verse 16 and 17. Now we look at Romans 3, verse 21 to 26. And these will touch on some of what we're looking to right now. Romans 1. It says, "For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone." Right? So I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it's the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believeth. To the Jew first and also to the Greek. For therein is the righteousness of God revealed from faith to faith, as is written, the just shall live by faith. Right? So we see here that the righteousness of God is revealed from faith to faith. What does it mean here when it says the righteousness is revealed? Right? Obviously, when something is revealed, it points to something, it leads to something. When it says something is revealed, that means that something was so to speak, not hidden, but was unfulfilled. We say something was hidden, it was unfulfilled. So in Christ, we saw the full fulfillment of the gospel coming out. So when he says here that the righteousness of God was revealed from faith, we're seeing here that this righteousness was manifested in Christ. Praise the Lord. So that covenant righteousness ties in to Christ. So a promise that was made has been fulfilled in Christ. And this promise not only fulfilled in Christ, but it requires that faith must be a part of it. Praise the Lord. So we see here that it's a twofold. God is being faithful by promising what he delivered what he promised, but we're also seeing that the just shall live by faith, which is coming from what we said in Habakkuk 2, verse 4. So the just shall live by faith. So there's also a part that we have to play in this covenant righteousness. Alright, so let us look at Romans 3, verses 21 to 26. Alright, Romans 3, verse 21 to 26. And reads thus, "But no righteousness of God without the law is manifested, being witnessed by the law and the prophets." So it says, "But no righteousness of God, right, apart from the law, is being manifested, being witnessed by the law and the prophets." Right? "Even the righteousness of God, which is by faith of Jesus Christ, unto all and upon all that believe, for there is no difference. For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God, being justified freely by his grace through the redemption that is in Christ Jesus, whom God had set forth in their propitiation through faith in his blood, to declare his righteousness for the remittance of sins that are passed through the forbearance of God. To declare, I say, at this time, his righteousness, that he might be just and the justifier of him which believeth in Christ." So, as I was saying earlier, so we see two sides to it, a reciprocal kind of behavior. God doing one thing by providing Jesus, who would be the justifier, or the one who would bring us into right standing. I will also see that this is crucial, that we have to believe in Jesus Christ's death. And that is the part that we need. Because the question was saying, what is covenant righteousness and how is it fully reciprocated in Christ? And then we also see coming out of it that Christ was not only the revelation or the manifestation of God's faithfulness or his covenant being upheld, but we see that Christ's life by abstaining from sin, by overcoming temptation, by maintaining righteousness, was also a means of showing us that truly these things can be accomplished once we trust in the Father, once we are obedient to his words, that we can also live a life that is sinless. Praise the Lord. So we're seeing these things coming up. So we see many words that came out here, but the key words that we were supposed to focus on was tempted. So we saw that in temptation took place, and we ourselves are tempted on a day-to-day basis. But with Christ the vessel, we are able to overcome this. As the scriptures go on to say, we have an advocate who was himself tested and overcome these testings and these trials. And he was faithful, right? And through his faithfulness, he remained sinless. And this sinlessness was indeed a means of ensuring that he would be that perfect atoning sacrifice that we would need to have salvation. Praise the Lord. So the key words were there. We saw all those things coming out as we recap the lesson. Happy Sabbath to Sister Vida Tabang. Praise the Lord for you. And I see Sister Jordan Dawn Coy who has just joined. Praise the Lord, sister. Alright, so one idea, one of the lessons that spoke to the righteous one, who is Jesus Christ, and how his sacrifice has enabled us to have sacrifice. But more importantly, how we too need to ensure that we believe and trust in the sacrifice that was made by God and live lives that are in accordance with his word. Praise the Lord. So as we come to a close, we'll read the apply it. So we've just summarized it and we're going to apply it. And then we'll do the closing prayer. Apply it says, come before God, confident that we have an advocate with our Father, Christ the righteous. We give him thanks and praise for reconciling us through his righteousness and for giving us his righteousness by faith. Set out this week to be mindful of temptations and overcoming them by the righteous one. And this is the ending here. So we now close off with prayer. And praise the Lord. So we now go ahead and for those who are still with stand as we pray for the Father. For those who are online, we get ready as we move into prayer. O righteous, everlasting Father, Prince of Peace, wonderful Creator, sustainer, life giver, Lion of Judah, Prince of Peace, the all in all, the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the end, O Lord. We come before you once again, O Lord. We just read your words of freedom. The psalmist said, Lord, thy words are hidden in my heart, so I can say this. So we're thankful, O God, that we have just embarked on your words and we've just read it. We're thankful that you give us the opportunity to read these words of God. We ask, O God, that even as we have just read these words, that you allow us to also hide in our hearts, so we might not sin against you. And that you allow your Holy Spirit to bring these words back to remembrance as we go through the week, as we face many challenges. Oh Lord, you see the challenges that are around us right now. We have to go to God that is here. And we pray, oh God, that you will lift up a standard against the enemy. Oh Lord, as we see Christ Jesus was tempted, oh God, and he remained steadfast and loyal and obedient, oh God, to you. Oh Lord, we also, because we believe and trust, pray the Holy Spirit, oh God, that you will help us to withstand the temptations and situations that come upon us, oh God. Oh Lord, we do not have an advocate, oh God. And you provide that means of salvation through sacrifice. And we pray, oh God, strength. Oh God, you said that you are perfect in faithfulness. Oh Lord, so we understand our faiths, we understand our limitations, and we pray, oh God, that you strengthen us as we go through the week, as we face the COVID and the uncertainty and the things that are in the atmosphere, oh God. We pray that you strengthen us so that we, oh God, will be able to evangelize, so that we will be able to give someone a word of hope, oh Lord. And this word of hope will not come because we are despondent, because we are here ourselves, but because you, oh God, have strengthened us. You, oh God, have given us hope, oh Lord. It wasn't clear that this life alone, we had hope, we many was miserable. But we have a hope, oh God, and we should not be fearful to spread this hope, but we should say to each other person as we evangelize. But thank you, oh God, for your words that have helped us to remember of what your son Christ Jesus has done. Thank you for your words that have helped us to reflect on your goodness and your mercy and the means by which you provide salvation. Allow us to impart this to others, with God, so that their souls will be lost. Lord, we thank you for everything. As we go further into the services, God, we pray that you will do touch each and every person that will be involved and minister to your people one way or the other. We pray that you will remove self, oh God, and that you will allow them to submit to you to do this, God. Thank you, Lord, for everything. As we do that. In Jesus' name, we pray.